The world of horror movies has no shortage of maniacs, but the scariest ones are the villains who take regular, everyday jobs and turn them into absolute bloodbaths. These killers aren't just your run-of-the-mill psychos. They're the kind of sick bastards who hide behind positions we're supposed to trust, only to flip the script and fuck people up in the worst possible ways. From doctors to cops to goddamn ice cream men, these maniacs have one thing in common. They use their day jobs to deal out death. So, let's dive into this dark and twisted countdown of the most fucked up horror movie villains who turn their careers into a bloody nightmare. Number 10. The Fisherman. I know what you did last summer. Kicking off this fucked up countdown is the Fisherman, the hook-wielding madman from I Know What You Did Last Summer. This guy might look like your average, hard-working fisherman, but after a bunch of dumbass teenagers run him over and dump his body in the water, he comes back from the dead ready to fuck them up. Dressed in a black slicker with a giant hook in hand, he takes revenge on each and every one of them, cutting through them like they're nothing but fish on a line. What makes the Fisherman so terrifying is that he's a symbol of karma. He's what happens when you think you can cover up your sins and get away with it. His relentless pursuit of these assholes who thought they could just run him over and leave him for dead is what earns him a spot on this list. Every swing of his hook is filled with vengeance, and the fact that he's using a tool of his trade just makes it that much worse. It's like every stab is a reminder. You don't fuck with the sea or the people who live by it. Number 9. The Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man. Rolling in at number 9 is the Ice Cream Man. Ice cream trucks are supposed to bring joy to kids, but Gregory Tudor, the psycho ice cream man in this movie, brings nothing but terror. After a childhood spent in a mental institution, this sick fuck takes his ice cream truck and turns it into a mobile slaughterhouse. Driving through neighborhoods, he lures kids with the promise of treats, but instead of handing out ice cream cones, he's handing out death. The fucked up part is that no one suspects him. He's just the friendly ice cream man, right?
Wrong.
Gregory is a deranged killer who uses his job to get close to kids and families, only to murder them in the most gruesome ways possible. And because no one thinks twice about an ice cream truck rolling through town, this psycho gets away with it for way too long. So, the next time you hear that ice cream jingle, remember, not all ice cream men are out to make you happy. Some of them just want to fucking kill you. Number 8. Chef Slowik, The Menu. At number 8, we've got Chef Slowik, the twisted culinary mastermind from The Menu. This pretentious fucker takes the art of cooking to a whole new level of insanity. He invites a group of wealthy, self-absorbed assholes to his secluded restaurant on an island, where they think they're in for the meal of a lifetime. And they are, but not in the way they expect. Chef Slowik has planned an elaborate, deadly dinner party, and he's going to make damn sure that by the end of the night, none of his guests will ever leave. What's so fucked up about Chef Slowik is the way he uses his cooking as both a weapon and a statement. He's not just feeding people, he's orchestrating their deaths with the same precision and care that he puts into his dishes. Each course is designed to mentally and physically break his guests down, pushing them toward their inevitable, bloody end. It's a masterclass in culinary cruelty, and by the time dessert rolls around, you'll be left wondering if you'll ever trust a high-end chef again. Number 7. Dr. Alan Feinstone, the Dentist. If you weren't already terrified of going to the dentist, Dr. Alan Feinstone from The Dentist will make sure you never want to sit in that fucking chair again. This psychotic dentist has a thing for perfection, and when he finds out his wife is cheating on him, he snaps. Instead of filling cavities, Dr. Feinstone starts using his dental tools to torture and murder his patients, turning routine checkups into absolute fucking nightmares. What makes Dr. Feinstone so terrifying is the way he uses the tools of his trade to inflict unimaginable pain on his victims. Dental instruments are already creepy as hell, but when this maniac starts drilling into teeth and gums with the intent to kill, it's enough to make you swear off dentists for life. His obsession with cleanliness and perfection only adds to the horror. This guy isn't just killing people, he's making sure it's done with surgical precision. So, if you've ever felt uneasy in the dentist's chair, Dr. Feinstone will make sure you're scarred for fucking life. Number 6. Harry Warden, My Bloody Valentine. At number 6, we've got Harry Warden, the murderous miner from My Bloody Valentine. Being a miner is a tough fucking job to begin with, But when you throw in a psychotic killer with a pickaxe, it becomes a full-on death sentence. Harry Warden is a miner who survives a terrible accident, only to go on a bloody rampage after being buried alive. He returns to his small town with one goal: to fucking kill anyone who gets in his way. Dressed in full mining gear, complete with a gas mask and helmet, Harry stalks his victims like a goddamn nightmare. Armed with his trusty pickaxe, he doesn't just kill, he fucking eviscerates. Blood sprays, hearts are ripped out. And by the end of the movie, you're left wondering how one man can cause so much destruction with such a simple tool. Harry Warden's brutal, relentless nature makes him one of the most terrifying villains in horror, and after watching him in action, you'll never look at a pickaxe the same way again. Number 5. Kurt Kunkel, Spree. Coming in at number 5 is Kurt Kunkel, the social media-obsessed killer from Spree. This fucked up rideshare driver is so desperate for internet fame that he decides the best way to go viral is by live streaming his killing spree. Armed with nothing but a car and a GoPro, Kurt picks up passengers, kills them, and broadcasts the whole thing online in a sick attempt to gain followers and likes. What's so terrifying about Kurt is how fucking real he is. We live in a world where people will do anything for internet fame, and Kurt is the ultimate example of how far some assholes are willing to go. He's not just killing for fun, he's killing for attention, and that makes him even more dangerous. His desperation is palpable, and as the body count rises, so does his obsession with becoming an online star. It's a horrifying look at the darker side of social media, and after watching Spree, you might just think twice before getting into a rideshare. Number 4. Dr. Evan Rendell, Dr. Giggles. At number 4 is Dr. Evan Rendell, the maniacal doctor from Dr. Giggles. This twisted son of a bitch escaped from a mental institution and is hellbent on continuing his father's murderous legacy. Armed with surgical tools and a sadistic sense of humor, Dr. Giggles cuts through his victims with a smile on his face, delivering cheesy one-liners as he slices them open. What makes Dr. Giggles so fucking terrifying is the way he revels in his kills. He's not just some silent killer, he's enjoying every minute of it, cracking jokes and laughing like a madman as his victims scream in agony. His medical knowledge makes him even more dangerous, as he knows exactly how to inflict the maximum amount of pain before delivering the final blow. Number 3. Officer Matt Cordell, Maniac Cop. At number 3 is Officer Matt Cordell, the undead cop from Maniac Cop. Cordell was a good cop who got screwed over, sent to prison on false charges, and murdered by inmates. But instead of staying dead, this pissed-off motherfucker comes back to life, still dressed in his uniform, and goes on a rampage, killing anyone he deems corrupt or guilty. Number 2. Reverend Lowe, Silver Bullet. At number 2 is Reverend Lowe, the werewolf preacher from Silver Bullet. Nothing is more fucked up than a religious figure who's secretly a goddamn monster. By day, Reverend Lowe preaches the word of God, but by night, he's a bloodthirsty werewolf tearing through his small town. The fact that he hides behind the facade of a man of faith makes him even more terrifying. No one suspects the kind, gentle preacher is actually a murderous beast. Reverend Lowe's transformation into a werewolf is savage, and his kills are brutal. He rips his victims apart with no remorse, all while continuing to lead his congregation. It's the ultimate betrayal of trust, and by the end of Silver Bullet, you're rooting for the werewolf hunters to take this bastard down. Reverend Lowe is a reminder that sometimes the monsters are hiding in plain sight, and they're a hell of a lot closer than you think. Number 1. Abby Russell, Nurse 3D. And finally, at number 1, we've got Abby Russell, the seductive and psychotic nurse from Nurse 3D. Abby isn't your average nurse. She's a cold-blooded killer who uses her job to get close to her victims before brutally murdering them. By day, she's the perfect, caring nurse, but by night, she's hunting down unfaithful men and carving them up like fucking turkeys. Abby's seduction and manipulation skills make her even more dangerous. She's a master at making her victims feel safe and cared for, only to flip the script and turn their lives into a living hell. Her kills are vicious, and she takes pleasure in every single one. The fact that she works in a hospital, a place where people are supposed to be healed, only makes her more terrifying. Abby Russell isn't just a nurse, she's a fucking executioner, and that's why she's earned the top spot on this fucked up list. Honorable mentions. Before we wrap this shit up, let's give a quick shout out to a couple of killers who almost made the list. Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. This rich, narcissistic bastard slices through his victims with the same ease that he navigates Wall Street. He's the ultimate yuppie psycho, proving that even in the corporate world, some people are just born to be killers. The tall man, Phantasm, this creepy-ass mortician isn't just burying bodies, he's using them for some seriously fucked up experiments. The tall man's bizarre, otherworldly agenda makes him one of the most unique and unsettling villains in horror. That's the countdown of the most fucked up killer jobs in horror movies. If you enjoyed this list, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more twisted shit coming your way. You don't want to miss what's next, because the next killer might be closer than you think.